morning, good morning. How are you guys doing? Good morning. Nice to see you all. Thanks for joining me this morning. It's January 27th, 2026. We're going to take a look at today's headlines and see what is moving the markets. A lot of news. A lot of news today. So I thought it would be a good idea to jump in and see what's affecting the markets. See what the headlines are saying, take a look at the actual charts and see what institutional supply and demand are telling us, because it's very interesting. Headlines say one thing, the charts always say something else. So we're going to take a look at what's going on, and we're going to see what the charts are telling us, okay? So again, welcome, welcome. Nice to have you. So today I'm looking at the headlines and I'm seeing we got some news with regards to Trump, EU, India, clinch mother of all deals. That's pretty good news. S&P 500 rises toward record, but insurers drag Dow lower. So rises towards, that's right, the S&P 500. I've been telling you guys about this chart here, and we've been outlining exactly the moves that are taking place right now on the charts. If you remember, we had a big institutional demand zone come into play here. You remember that when price dropped? I told you watch for a move up off of this area. Okay, remember when we hit supply? I said watch for a move to the downside from this area, but eventually I believe price is going to break through that area of supply and we're going to make a move to the upside. Guys, it's doing exactly as I said it was, okay? Exactly to the T. If this doesn't just floor you, I don't know what will floor you, okay? But this is playing out exactly as I said it would. And the reason why I knew this, again, is because of what we've been talking about. We had a major institutional buying zone here where the banks were accumulating under, medium-term buying. This is significant buying. So even though we had short-term selling, when short-term buying comes into play, it will overpower the short-term selling and we should expect price to head higher. And this is exactly what's going on with price, okay? So soon it's going to rip through this area of supply and price is going to go higher. So yes, we are on the verge of just breaking through and having price continue going into new all-time highs. So this is looking super good, super bullish, as I've been saying this whole time, super bullish. This is going to be good for stocks. It's going to be good for the stocks in our portfolio. It's going to start lifting things up. So I'm really excited about it because my account is in drawdown right now and I'm not happy about it at all. I don't like drawdowns, but it's what happens when you put your money in a lot of different assets that are being controlled by the overall markets. A lot of stocks I've already closed positions on and took some profits. Some of them hit my stop loss and I took small losses, but the ones that I have taken wins on have been nice moves from my entry. I posted some of those in the Telegram channel. Just one second. Having my green drink this morning. All right, so S&P 500 looking good. Let's take a look at UnitedHealth because that's making one of the headlines today. So we covered S&P 500. We talked about the reason why it's making a move to the upside. Okay, so again, we told you what was going to happen with the index before the headlines came out and told you what's happening with the index, okay? Now, UnitedHealth, if you guys have been following our channel for long enough, you know I've covered UnitedHealth in one of our morning sessions. And in the Telegram channel, I've made posts about UnitedHealth. Just come to the Telegram channel, search up UNH, and you'll see the posts that I've made. So here's an interesting one. Let me go to UNH and show you what's going on here. All right. So we had a massive drop in UnitedHealth, okay? We've been talking about this for some time. And then price stopped right here. Yes, there's an institutional demand zone to the left here on the monthly time frame, but that's not the time frame you should be focusing your attention on. The time frame you should be focusing your attention on is the higher time frame. This is a 6-month time frame. And as you can see, we have a big zone here that price is contacting, all right? To the T, if you take a look at where price is contacting this area, it's right inside the zone, all right? So we expect over time to see institutional buying coming in and pushing price to the upside. Now, we're not just going to assume that the buying is going to start happening. There's many things we can do at this point. We can go over to a website that I love to take a look at, which is this one here, Hedge Follow. And you can go to UNH and type it up and look up the stock and see if there's big institutional buying coming in. So I like to look at them listed by value owned, highest on top down to lowest, and I look at their average price, okay? And another tip and trick I will share with you that I show to members is what I normally do is I do a screenshot of this and I put it into ChatGPT and I tell ChatGPT, take a look at the average buy price and calculate all of them and give me an average for the biggest holders in this stock. And then I'll get an average price of what the biggest holders of this stock, of where they're situated. And I'll be able to see on the chart what the average price is for all the big players. And that's important to me because if I see that they're constantly getting into a position or constantly getting out of a position, it'll give me an insight as to whether or not these big players think that this is going to continue going higher or if it's going to go lower. But there's other ways to tell if price is going to continue going higher or lower. So the first thing I'll point out is as price was dropping inside this major institutional buying zone, I want you to pay particular attention to the RSI here. Look at the RSI. You see how my indicator is red here? You see how if you take a look at this over here, the color of it is red. That means it's very bearish. You don't want to be buying something when it's coming into a major institutional buying zone when one time frame lower is showing you bearishness, okay? So we want this to be bullish. We want price to come down into the zone, create a basing candle, create a bullish engulf, and we want it to be within the green band here, okay? The green band tells us that the momentum is likely going to shift to the upside, and the next move that takes place is going to take over the previous high here, okay? That's what it will tell us. But when trying to understand why price is doing what it's doing, guys, it's bouncing off demand. This is institutional buying, but look where it dropped from. It's not random that price just dropped from here. This is not random. This is an institutional zone right here. What used to be a buying zone turns into a profit zone, okay? An area where profits are going to be taken. So this is what's happening, and this is why price is being driven to the downside right now. You can read the headlines and they can explain to you whatever they explain to you about the reasons why price is dropping, but this is the reason why price is dropping, okay? There is no other reason why price is dropping. The markets are being driven by institutional buying and selling, period, okay? And this is why the markets move the way that they do, all right? And I show you this time after time after time in these morning sessions. The reason why I go into detail and show you these areas is because I want you to understand why price is doing what it's doing. And once you understand why price is doing what it's doing, then you can be better informed when you want to take a trade. All right, so price is coming, it react off supply. Look at the dynamic taking place here on the weekly time frame, okay? Institutional supply came into play here. Major selling causing price to come down, contacting this demand zone here, which pushed price up, back into the selling zone, and now we got the drop. So you see how they retrace back up? Guys, this is where big institutional selling was taking place. They drop price with their selling because selling overwhelms the buying that's coming into the market. Then they contact their institutional buying zone. Then they start buying here slowly to get price up. Retail traders see that the stock is rallying. Probably some news headlines comes out, makes it look very positive, okay? And this is what causes the rally until they reach their selling zone again. And now this aggressive selling is happening from their supply zone on the weekly time frame, okay? Major selling. This is aggressive selling right now. Profit taking on long positions while retail traders are left holding their shares thinking what the hell is going on. And then of course, you know, they come and they read the headlines and this is scary. This is scary. UnitedHealth falls as Medicare below shades upbeat outlook. Okay, whatever the hell that means. The bottom line is what happens after big drops like this. Look at United shares. Okay, their headlines. Okay, from this morning. Look at the reported surprise and under. Okay, this is pretty good. If you already offloaded your shares up here, down here, you're probably interested in buying. Probably. Because remember, we're creating that momentum shift here. Okay, very likely, very likely. We're not going to jump the gun and start entering into position, but it's very likely this is what's happening. Okay, so when these headlines come out and the earnings are bad, this is exactly when the banks buy. They sold at 350, they buy back down after everybody starts freaking out and selling their shares. Because again, for there to be an aggressive buying from the banks, there needs to be aggressive selling by retail. And so this is the dynamic that I see playing out. All right. Now, again, I'm not going to just buy this stock down here at these lows and expect price to head higher. I'm going to watch for the momentum to shift. I want to see the proof. And again, I can continue to monitor this website and see, is there any new buying? Because you could just scroll down and see, in the last quarter, you can see whether they increase their positions or not. Look at this, an increase of 8%, 1%, okay, 24%, 41%. Sometimes it'll say new, which means it's a brand new position. So this will take time. This is coming into a major institutional buying zone on the 6 and 12 month. So it's going to take many months for them to accumulate a position. In the meantime, we can see the updated information on this website to see if the big institutions are increasing their positions or majorly decreasing. And right now I see increasing, okay? Lots of green here. So this is, showing me that there's an accumulation, and I'm starting to see this play out on the charts, okay? Over the long term, I'm going to wait this one out. I'm going to wait until I see strong institutional buying zones coming into the market, specifically on the monthly time frame. I would like to see that. And then when I see the signal, I will be a participant and I will jump in as well. All right. So watch for that, ladies and gentlemen. Watch for that. So let's go back to the headlines. All right. You like this information? Hit the like button. I appreciate all your support. Consumer confidence tanks to historic lows, worse than in COVID. Okay. Amazon is closing its grocery convenience stores. Yeah, I heard about that. Amazon stock hasn't really been doing much as of late from what I am seeing. AMZN. We look at Amazon stock, it's just coasting sideways. I wouldn't be a buyer. If you were to be a buyer, it would have been down here at the institutional demand zone at $100. That was your buy signal right there. We located this zone. I pointed it out to members. I said, this is the institutional buying zone. $100. Okay. It's $242. All right. That doubled your money easily, okay, in just a couple years. So that was a time to buy. Now we're at these highs. We reached our higher time frame targets. Okay. Remember, we locate these targets looking at institutional price action, and we forecast where the institutions are likely going to take profits on their positions. And take a look. Okay. This target was placed well before price ever got near there. Okay. I didn't put that there and say, oh, that looks really good. Members will know I placed this target a long time ago. And just look at the reaction from that. You see the big sell-off? Major sell-off. So when big targets like this are reached, I tend to not want to buy stocks when they reach higher time frame targets, because that tells me over the longer period, we're likely going to see a sell-off. And if not, great. I want to see new buying, new huge buying. Because when a higher time frame target gets hit, that means over the long term, profit taking should be taking place. But if they are planning to take price much higher, then I want to see a really long-term buying area be created on the charts, okay? Which would be signaling to me that over the long term, they're going to continue pushing price higher. GM posts earnings beat. Yeah, listen, we've been looking at GM for quite some time now, and we saw them buying. We saw institutional buying, okay? We located a big supply area that needed to be removed, and it was removed, and ever since it was removed, they opened up the floodgates for a move higher. And this is what's taking place. In fact, I had a institutional buying zone right here that I was interested in buying, and it came within cents of triggering. And it's just it's frustrating when this happens, because I was just waiting for it to come down into that area, and then I would have been a buyer. And take a look, it just missed the signal, and now it's heading towards my target at 94.30. This happens. What can you do? But great stock, looking really good. Institutional buying is indeed taking place. I'm just going to wait for new buying zones, and then I will participate, since that one has missed out. Utility bills are out of control, but don't blame the Arctic blast or AI. Okay, Microsoft, MSFT. Let's take a look at what's going on here. All right, it looks like it contacted an institutional buying zone on the daily time frame, and we're moving to the upside. Long-term buying doesn't look like it's happening right now. In fact, on the weekly time frame, take a look at this. We are contacting major supply. This is a big selling area, okay? This is a major selling area, which caused price to come down. Now we're inside. So if anything, the pressure is to the downside, unless this zone is broken through. If this zone is broken through, then we have one more above it. If this zone is broken through, then the big players are telling us they're ready to take the stock higher. But I'm not going to speculate until I see proof. Okay, I'm not going to speculate down here when supply areas are above price. I want supply areas out, buying zones coming in, and then I'm interested in buying alongside the big players. Okay. Markets have been risk on. Okay, so let's take a look at gold. Gold still moving, still driving higher. It's just crazy what gold is doing, isn't it? Just look at that, a little bit of a resting period, and it's gaining strength again. Okay, new institutional buying zone happening here on the monthly time frame. But look, all throughout this move, there hasn't been any zone on the monthly time frame that price has retraced to. So that means they keep on buying. They keep on buying. They keep on buying at higher prices without any regard for, retracing back to zones where they accumulated a position. So, how high this is going to go, who knows? But this is very bizarre behavior. It's not typical. And it's like, just like a free-for-all buying. Everybody's just hoping that it's going to just continue going higher. And we got the same thing with silver, although we did see a major sell-off from the highs there, 117 or give or take. But again, no zones being retraced to. There is a nice zone here on the daily time frame. I'm watching for retracement to that zone, and we'll see if there is a long signal that's produced off of that. Okay. Disney CEO succession is hurting stock. Nothing happening with that stock. I was looking at it, and there's not much movement, so no need to talk about that. Dollar dropping. So we talked about the dollar and the euro in our latest CFTC analysis session, where we took a look at the institutional positions, and we drew out our clouds on the charts to indicate the buying and selling. For instance, if you take a look at the weekly time frame, you'll notice that I have these clouds. If you're new here, you don't know what I'm doing here. These clouds tell us whether or not there is a selling cycle happening or a buying cycle. And within that cycle, there's the accumulation phase, the very aggressive phase, and then the distribution phase, okay? And, they start to accumulate here, and then they get aggressive here, and then they accumulated some more aggressive, and then there's the profit taking on short phase. And then there's the accumulation of the shorts again, aggressive here, profit taking, and aggressive again, all right? So this is what we do, is we look at the CFTC data, and we make a visual representation of the positions on the charts. And when we do this, it gives us a better indication of what the banks are doing, okay? What are the big institutions, the ones that control price and move price? What are they doing with their positions? Is price moving in a certain direction because they are aggressively accumulating, or are they profit taking on a position, and that's what's fueling the move? Very important to distinguish between the two. So is it moving down? Yes, it's moving down, but we have institutional demand still holding. This is an institutional demand area that was created back here, And as you can see, we're in it. We've been tapping into this zone. RSI is sitting in the green band, so that's telling us that this zone is strong, and price has been holding it pretty well. So could price just stop and reverse to the upside? Sure, it can. I wouldn't be bearish unless that institutional buying zone gets taken out, because as long as it's holding, this is in a buying phase, okay? It's just we have to see whether or not price is just going to continue to bounce inside this zone as they start to accumulate, or if they're just going to continue to distribute and force price to the downside. That's where we are right now. We got to be patient right now, okay? What we've concluded by looking at the analysis of the CFTC data is we have to be patient right now, because moves are being made, but they're not very clear what is driving those moves. It's clearly not institutional selling that's causing this move, just like it's clearly not institutional buying that's causing the move up in the euro recently, because they had already accumulated a massive long position, a record amount of long positions, and they started to take profits over the last couple of weeks. We are looking at the data and we can see that they've been taking profits. So it wasn't buying that was causing that move up by the big players. Other people buying, yes. Outsiders buying, yes. But the big players that move the markets wasn't them. So we're waiting to see how this is going to play out, because we want to see what their cards are very clearly before we make a move, okay? So UnitedHealth we covered. Boeing, BA, what's going on? Why is it a big mover? Let's see. Or why is it a big trending stock? Yeah, okay, so earnings. Earnings looks like positive earnings. Been contacting this selling area a couple times, dropped. Yeah, overall, a big institutional buying zone was contacted here. They came into it a couple times, and it's holding, and it's moving price to the upside. You see that here? That was a place to buy down here if you were going to be a buyer. Otherwise, what am I seeing here? A big break above 260s, and then we have supply at 318. So ideally, what I would like to see is them break through, respond to that supply up here on the monthly, and then new buying coming in, excuse me, and then I'll be interested in buying that stock, okay? What else? We have GM, we covered it. UPS, let's see, UPS. Whew, yeah, big buying. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, I wanted to buy this one. Here's my trade setup. I want to get in at what, 70, 80 bucks, and it came as low as $82. I was going to buy just a little bit lower. I was waiting for it to go, but that's okay. Look, on the 6-month time frame, we have a big selling area here, okay? Not to be ignored, because once price gets up here, it's going to react. So any type of buying, profit taking should be happening at 125 before that selling area gets contacted. We wait for that to be removed, create demand, retrace to demand, then I'm a buyer for a longer term hold. That would be the ideal way. But if I was to get in down here at $80, I would probably wait until that area got removed, and then keep on adding to my position as it plays to the upside. Reddit, RDDT, let's see what's going on. Ooh, big drop. And for good reason. Big buying took place at 164 here, okay? They rallied price up pretty aggressively, and there hasn't been any real buying ever since. So if there's no big buying from the big institutions, then there's going to be a drop to where the last area there was of buying, which is 164. So I wouldn't be touching Reddit until it got down there, and then I'd wait for confirmation to see where they're going to continue buying. So I'll be looking for new institutional buying zones to come in as price is reacting from that area of buying. Whew. Okay, folks. Good. Yeah. All right. I think we've covered a lot. If you guys like this session, beautiful. Let me know in their comments below. I always appreciate seeing your comments. And any suggestions on stuff that you'd like to see me cover, I would love to read about it, okay? But Until next time, if you want more information, come to our Telegram channel. You can find out a lot more information about the supply and demand analysis that we do. And if you want to learn how we do it, whiteoakfx.com. We'd love to have you. Okay. Anyways, you take care. Have a good one. Enjoy yourself, and we'll talk to you soon.